You put yourself out there, took a risk, and she shot you down. The world keeps spinning, but you feel entirely stuck in place. Your brain immediately starts scanning for errors. You replay the conversation, dissect your own text messages, and start asking yourself what you did wrong, or worse, if there is something flawed about your personality. Stop that tape from playing. Rejection does not provide a summary of your value as a man. It is a specific piece of feedback, an alarm clock telling you exactly where you stand and giving you a clear reason to start improving your current circumstances. There is a precise 4-step psychological playbook you can use to process this moment. We are going to map out exactly how to handle the initial fallout, reprogram your daily habits, and build a lifestyle that is objectively more stable and attractive. The goal here is a total change in direction. If you focus on trying to win her back, you fail. If you focus entirely on your own metrics for success, you become a person that others find difficult to ignore. Phase 1 starts the second you hear the word no. This initial window is where the majority of guys sabotage future respect they might have earned. Panic sets in, and they start showing their hand. They get visibly upset, they throw petty insults, or they start typing out long paragraphs trying to logically argue against an emotional decision she's already made. Needy behavior backfires because it provides her with immediate relief. When you push back or demand an explanation, you confirm her suspicion that rejecting you was a necessary boundary to set. You have to do the exact opposite. Show total nonchalance. Accept the rejection cleanly, agree with her decision, and keep your response incredibly short. All right, no worries. When you refuse to flinch, you deny her the emotional drama that usually justifies a rejection. Without a needy reaction to push against, the interaction ends on your terms, leaving her without the typical ego boost that comes from a guy chasing her. Whoever reacts the least holds the leverage. Mastering this neutral, emotionless response takes the control out of her hands and puts it right back into yours. Phase 2 is strategic withdrawal. Once you've delivered that unbothered response, you walk away and drop off her radar entirely. This means going fully radio silent. You stop initiating texts, stop viewing her social media stories, and you refuse to settle for a just friends dynamic where you provide attention for free. Human psychology dictates that we place higher value on resources that are no longer accessible. When you remove your presence, you stop being a predictable part of her life. This silence creates an information void. Because you aren't seeking her validation, she is left to wonder why you aren't checking in, shifting her thoughts back to your whereabouts. Giving someone the gift of your absence forces them to process your value without your interference. Weaponized silence builds intrigue far more effectively than persistent attention ever could. Phase 3 is where you redirect all that freed-up mental energy. You stop analyzing her behavior and start heavily investing in your own. Look at the routines you've been neglecting. Pick up heavier weights at the gym, pursue a higher-level project at work, or start organizing weekly meetups to expand your social circle. There is a massive difference between doing this for yourself and doing it for an audience. Do not fall into the trap of performing, staging photos of your new life online specifically hoping she sees them. Transformation comes from building internal pride and acquiring real-world skills. It's about creating a life that you actually enjoy living, regardless of who is watching your social media stories. You also need to avoid the quick fix of a rebound relationship. Using another person to numb the sting of rejection is a self-destructive distraction. It keeps you tied to the same emotional habits that led to the initial pain, and it unfairly harms a new partner who thinks you are actually emotionally available. Stay single and face the discomfort. Taking the energy of a bruised ego and channeling it into strict discipline raises your baseline value. It makes you stronger than you were the day she said no. Phase 4 comes months later when you eventually cross paths at a mutual friends party or a random encounter. This is the test of your progress. When you see her, keep the interaction light and brief. You don't try to show off your new accomplishments, and you definitely don't act better. You treat her exactly like an old acquaintance you are mildly happy to see. Consider this case study from a dating coach. He was on a date where the girl suddenly lost interest halfway through. Instead of getting angry, he showed polite compassion. He checked if she was okay, walked her to her car, and told her to have a good night. He accepted the exit completely and walked away. Because he hadn't reacted with frustration, the girl reached out to him just 3 hours later. By being unbothered, he remained a high-value option in her mind. Words mean nothing in these moments. When she sees you looking fit, relaxed, and focused, she is seeing objective evidence that you have grown beyond the person she originally rejected. If you execute these steps, you unlock a specific psychological shift. By the time you've built a life you're proud of, her regret actually stops being the primary goal. You start using rejection as a filter. A no stops being a setback and starts being proof that she wasn't the right fit for the direction your life is headed. You will eventually reach a point where her opinion of your progress becomes irrelevant because your focus has moved entirely toward your own metrics for success. The path starts right now. Pick one area, your health, your income, or your mind, and commit to improving it today. The true prize was always your own potential.